time to drop.
Welcome back to the Hennisphere, everyone. Today's roller coaster is pretty special. This is Mr. Freeze Reverse Blast at Six Flags Over Texas. When I first rode this, I wasn't a huge fan, honestly. I thought it was a little too intense for me. Maybe I just didn't know how to ride it. But it took me a second ride to really appreciate what this thing is. And it's absolutely incredible. I had to ride it again. And then I went back last year to the park and I rode it. I loved it. And then I rode it this year on my trip coming back from Missouri. So I love this ride so much. It's so unique. And that vertical spike is just out of this world. And the first time I rode it, the trains were mounted forwards. And the last couple times I rode it as reverse blast. And I love the reverse aspect of it. So this is a Premier Rides launching roller coaster, launches in reverse shuttle roller coaster, designed by Stengel, and it features a sliding station, which is pretty awesome. So it can load one train while another train is on the track. Absolutely love that, but unfortunately they don't always run both of those. Sometimes they're only loading on one platform, so the line can get very long. But it is worth it. For me, it's always been worth it, even when I had to wait 45 minutes to an hour. So let's jump into the enthusiast categories. The height. That vertical spike reaches 218 feet in the air. Pretty tall. So this thing, I guess you can call it a hypercoaster, even though it's a shuttle. That earns 8 out of 10. The speed. That launch hits 70 miles an hour in 3.8 seconds. So pretty intense. That's real fun. 8 out of 10. Drops. That drop is pretty breathtaking. When you get to the top of the spike and then you fall back down to earth, it's really awesome. There's tons of negative G's. I'll give that drop, just that drop alone, is 8 out of 10. G-forces. That launch is intense. The top hat is also fairly intense when you twist to the side when you're going up. When you get to the top, it's a little more graceful, but it's incredible. 8 out of 10. And the wow factor. There is a clone of this ride at Six Flags St. Louis, so this ranking is really also for that one. I've rode both of them. It's still a 9 out of 10. It's incredible. These are two of the best shuttle roller coasters in the world. Add those 5 categories up and you get 41 out of 50, which is among the highest I've ever given for the enthusiast categories. But let's see how well it does with the general public categories. Theming. You've got some good theming on this. The outside has that ice cream theme, and inside you've got some weird things to look at. There's just weird kind of, I don't know exactly what they are. They look like equipment for manufacturing something. And then the station itself is dark, and you have animatronic behind you. Actually, it's kind of hard to see, but there's also neon lights inside of the station. So I'm giving this a 6 out of 10. Restraints. These are similar to Poltergeist, except you don't have the seatbelt. That seatbelt on Poltergeist is pretty horrific. This one does not have that, so I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. Like, it's comfortable. These are pretty comfortable. Layout. The layout, while it is a shuttle coaster, what it does is pretty spectacular. Going through stuff forwards and backwards just feels so different each way. So I'm giving it a 6 out of 10. And the length. This is where it's going to hurt its score because it's pretty short. It's only 1,300 feet long, so that only gets a 4 out of 10. Smoothness. This ride is very smooth. I've heard people say that the one at Over Texas is much rougher than St. Louis, but I have never noticed that. I've really enjoyed myself every time except that first time I rode it when it launched forwards and was not the reverse blast. But I like it. I don't have any problems with it whatsoever. I find it to be quite smooth at both parks, so I'm giving it an 8 out of 10. And adding these 5 together, you get 32 out of 50. That's good. It's not great. But adding this to the 41 from before, and you get 73 out of 100, meaning it places pretty close to Iron Rattler. I will make sure to upload videos for all of the ones that are above this. That's coming soon. And for those of you wondering, yes, Iron Rattler has been dethroned as the highest rank on my scale, but You will have to stick around and watch later this month to see what roller coaster or roller coasters, plural, outrank it. So that's coming soon. But Mr. Freeze, very solid, very high on my rank. The higher the rank, the better. Next up, we have the two big guns at the park, New Texas Giant and Titan. Thanks for watching. That was another day in the Hennisphere.